The big one. Yeah.
We do it now. Hi.
What's going on?
Okay.
What just happened?
Oh.
And we wanted to still include you guys tonight, explain what's going on. So if you see us looking down, we have a camera live down here with a bunch of people. Hey guys. And we also are going live up here. So if you guys have questions, you can submit them on Instagram Live, or if you guys want to hop off of Instagram Live and join us on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, or on Twitch. Our Instagram name, not on Instagram, what's our Twitch? Generations_youth. And our YouTube is just at Generations House of Worship. And then Facebook is the same as well. So that's just a little update on what we're doing, guys. And for those of you on Instagram, Pastor Nick is joining us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch. So if you hear us talking to Pastor Nick, that is what's happening down here. Hey, Pastor Nick, what's up?
What up? So this is crazy. We're playing around with a whole new software and trying to figure it out, but it actually wouldn't let me jump in unless I got into the studio with you guys. So I don't know who's in control of what, but I'll just stay right here if you need me to. So
yeah, we're actually on your profile, so we're both in control of everything at the same time.
Okay, cool. Well, I'll just back off the keyboard and the mouse. You guys can do whatever you want. What's up, everybody who's jumping on with us? We got 3 platforms right now, so that's pretty cool.
Because we have my phone set up on Instagram Live in front of us.
Oh, groovy. All right, rock on, man. That's awesome.
So
make sure you guys drop all of your Instas so everyone can follow y'all, and I'll figure out this Twitch thing. I don't know nothing about it.
Yeah, so like Annalise just said, for everyone that didn't hear it here, or maybe you're just joining us on Instagram, if you go to twitch.tv/generations_youth, you can follow us on Twitch. We have a whole page set up. We have Midlights set up for every Friday night. So we're going to be getting this going. We're going to be getting some really cool things set up for you guys, and we're really excited about it. So make sure you follow us on Twitch and YouTube. I'll pop the Twitch thing up so you can see it at generations_youth. So make sure you follow us because we're going to be doing some cool stuff.
For you guys on Instagram, can you give me a thumbs up in the comments if you can hear us? Because my phone's a little bit further away from me. So I want to make sure that you guys are good on sound and everything. I see that people joined and my eyes are not the best. So I can see Mackenzie's name. Hi, Amia, I think.
I can't even. So
yeah, let us know. Thumbs up if it's good. Jaden just joined. Hey.
I joined. I'm gonna keep looking at all this.
Okay.
Yeah,
cool.
Pastor Nick's playing.
Pastor Nick joined.
cool.
I got a thumbs up from somebody. Cool. That's awesome. Yeah, so we have some new big exciting things coming. We're really excited to be trying out all these different platforms. It's definitely something that we all would agree that kids or youth, young adults, I should say, are more into. That's why I want to try Twitch and YouTube for sure. Definitely Facebook just to reach more people. But we're excited.
I'm excited.
Yeah, well, also with our Instagram, we were always trying to squeeze everybody in to this.
So far away to get us in.
Yeah, you actually sound really far away too. So everybody on Insta, make sure you take note. We will not be. Our goal is to move out of Instagram in the future. So please make sure if you don't have a Twitch account, get it just to follow us and don't do anything else on it. It is what it is.
Yeah.
I'm loving that dig on the lo-fi in the background. Y'all killed it.
Yeah. I
grooving in here.
I spent 3 hours last night getting all this set up, trying to make it look cool for us. I got some really cool things that we can do with Twitch. Just a sneak peek of one of the cool things. I found a extension where we can host live game shows. So if you guys are on your phone or on your computer, you can actually tune in and answer questions and get points, and we can see who is answering the questions right, and we can host live game shows for you. So that's maybe something that we're looking to do in the future. So make sure you follow us on Twitch, because that's where all the big stuff's going to be coming here soon.
That's exciting. For all
That's
of you guys
dope.
that are watching, whether you're on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, or Twitch, screenshot it, copy the link if you can, go post it on your stories,
Yeah.
go make a post on Facebook, go put it on your Snapchat story, put it out on every story that you can. Help us out, get this out there. This is definitely different, like we've said, so we want to try to switch and come off of Instagram and go onto all these other platforms. So if you could help us out, share this with your friends, that'd be sweet. I see people were saying, hey, in the comments, if you see us leaning forward and squinting, our comment box is really small. So who is this? Hey, everybody. Hi, Irina. Hey, Mackenzie. Is that Emily? Hey, Kim. Oh, Kim Conley. That's Alexis and Addison's mom.
Danny.
That is Danny.
Danny. Hi,
What's
Danny.
going on? What is going on? Not much. So actually, a little bit of background is Midlights is something that we used to do probably a few months ago. Well, no, last year, I guess. And it used to be at midnight, and the whole vision and idea behind it is bringing light in the darkest hour of the night. So we did move it up to 11, so 11 to 12 p.m. I know we're young, but we also like our sleep. But this also will get posted when we're done. It's not like it's a one and done. It'll be there for you guys to go back and watch. Everyone can see it. We want everybody to see it. Please share it afterwards too. But we just want to try to help everybody out. I know when I was in college, I wasn't doing the best things at 11, 12 at night, even earlier in the night. I was going to parties and drinking and doing stuff that I don't do anymore. But if there was something like this for me to plug into, get involved with, it probably would have saved me a lot of hard lessons learned. So that's a little bit of background about what we're doing. Pastor Nick, do you want to add anything?
I'm just sending it to Bieber on Instagram, trying to get Bieber on.
If you guys are new, we always send it to Justin Bieber.
These days,
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. No, it's cool to see everybody jumping on. It is really neat to see how many people are on from so many different platforms. And, you know, at the end of the day, the passion for Midlights really came. I was praying and I was asking God, you know, what's one more thing we can do to reach the next generation, to be there for them. And I heard the Lord clearly say Midlights. And so it is really neat to see it back up. It never left our hearts. We just wanted to get back to the drawing board. Anything that's worth doing is worth doing right. So we're always trying to, you know, one of the visions of the church is that we want to pursue excellence. We want to teach a generation to pursue excellence. And so excellence is not having the best, but it's doing the best with what you have. And so that's what we're doing. You know, we got a spotty Wi-Fi at the church. We're making it happen. We got, you know, cell phones, cameras, whatever. We're going to figure it out, but we're going to do everything short of sin to reach the lost at any cost. So yeah, I'm just excited to be here, guys.
Cool. One last time before we jump into some questions, for those of you that are on Instagram, if you just joined, we have a laptop in front of us. We are streaming on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. So if you want to hop off of Instagram and jump onto either any three of those platforms, our Twitch name is @generations_youth. So you can go there. And what do you do on Twitch? Subscribe, follow.
You follow on Twitch. If we get 50 followers on Twitch, then you can subscribe. And we could be doing some really cool things. So,
right, so
make sure you go to Twitch and follow, because we need to get 50 followers.
We will be getting 50 followers. But so if you are on Instagram, join us on those other three platforms so that you can comment live there and see all of our cool little things popping up on the screen. And you can also see Pastor Nick. He's joining us live as well. So thanks for commenting that, Pastor Nick. I can't comment on my phone.
So
I got you.
Just a quick introduction. I know we introduced ourselves, but we didn't really say who we are with Generations House of Worship.
That is true.
We are the co-youth leaders right now, and we are having youth city groups on Tuesdays from 6:30 to 8 p.m.
Yeah.
So make sure you come out and see us. We have a great time. We got a lot of cool stuff planned for this summer, and that's actually where a lot of the questions that we're going to be going through tonight come from. So if you don't know, or you've never joined Midlights before, what we do is we ask the kids questions, or we ask a bunch of people questions. A lot of these aren't from just kids, but we ask everyone questions, and we see what people are dealing with, what they're struggling with, and we come on and we try to answer them to the best of our abilities. And that's why it's nice to have Pastor Nick on, so that if we need someone to shoot back to, he can give us something. But We want to come on. We want to answer your questions. So make sure you guys come out Tuesday nights to youth city groups so that we can get your questions, so that we can meet you in person, because it's going to be a great time. If you are an old person watching this and you're not a kid from grades 6 through 12, make sure you get your kids here, your grandkids, anything,
Yes.
because it's going to be a great time. And we got really a lot of cool stuff planned.
And if you're not in grade 6 or 12, you can come on Sunday and join us at Sunday service, which is right here at the church. You can look up our address online, or I can tell you it right now. It is 1160 Parkside Drive, Brackenridge, PA. And Sunday service starts at 10:30 in the morning. And we would love to see you guys. Also, we have baptisms on Sunday. So if you want to get baptized, you want to come hang out, let's eat some food, come make some friends, make some connections, come out, come to church, come hang out with us. We'd love to meet you. We'd love to see you. Also, plug TJ too. TJ is also one of our youth leaders. He is not able to tonight. So we have 2 guys, 2 girls, and Pastor Nick and Pastor Brooklyn, and then Pastor Brandon and Kelsey, basically Pastor Kelsey. They all hang out with us and help us too. So I don't want to forget all of them. I can't see these.
She said, I missed Midlights. So happy it's coming back.
Oh, that was Emily.
Yes, that's awesome.
Yes.
That's awesome. It's cool to hear that, because sometimes you feel like, sometimes, God, and this is the reality, is God has called every single one of us to do something great. And sometimes that thing that is great may feel like it's not making a difference whatsoever. And it's so easy to become discouraged. But anything that God has called you to do always has to start small. And the Bible says, do not despise small beginnings. So, we have to start somewhere, and who knows, this might end up, if it reaches one person, it was worth it. But who knows, it might end up reaching hundreds, thousands, millions, maybe billions of people. So never stop doing what God has called you to do, even if it takes a while to get it moving. And once momentum's rocking, you're doing okay. So I'm stoked. Just to make sure everybody knows, if you are an adult, you may think, well, why can't I come on Tuesdays if I'm bringing my kids? Because you cannot pass the threshold of our student ministry without a background check and without credibility. We want to know you. We get it, if you're dropping your kid off, but we hope that statement doesn't offend you, but actually encourages you to bring your kids, because they're in a safe space. Everybody who is serving in our student ministry area is vetted. They have background checks, FBI clearances. They have character. Nobody just jumps into our church and starts serving in students. Students and children is an area, and worship ministry are 3 major areas where there is a season of getting to know you, working with you, having you serve in other areas before we let you work with such vulnerable areas. And so if you're a parent, we invite you to send your kids, bring your kids. You can drop them off. We'll meet you. We'll show you the area. We'll walk you through. But you got to go home. So that's just how we roll.
Also, last plug before we jump into things, we have life groups. So if you do want something more than Sunday service, you can join any of our life groups, and those are actually launching on June 6th. And you can find those at our website, which is jihad.net/life groups. And that's for anybody, moms, dads, singles, married, activity life groups, Bible studies, so many different fun things to do, especially during the summer, because we can be outside. So that's definitely another way to get plugged in that doesn't just have to be on a Sunday. And if you wanted something like Tuesdays, but you're not in grades 6 through 12, life groups would be the perfect place for you to go.
What's really cool too about life groups that I love is you can invite, if you go to our church and people don't want to go to church because they don't like organized religion, which I've had a lot of my friends say, I can bring them to life groups where they're just hanging out with people.
Yeah.
So, and it's just chill, and it's
that's awesome. That's a good point.
I always laugh when people say they don't like organized religion. I'm like, so you telling me you like unorganized religion? Like,
yeah.
So we're gonna jump into some questions. Are you cool with that, Pastor Nick? Sweet. All right. So our first question is, how do you honor your parents when they don't honor each other? And then how do you honor your step parents? So kind of 2 questions in one, but both regarding parents.
Right. I can start on that one because I grew up in what they call a broken home, and I always hated that term because I didn't feel broken because it felt normal to me. But my parents split when I was 4. They didn't really honor each other all that much until I got older. But the more issue that I had was my dad and my stepmom. So they just constantly were fighting, and it was just a toxic environment to be in at times. And I love them both, but at the time I did not like my stepmom. And as I got older and as I started to find God, the biggest thing that I found was to take myself out of the marriage, because as my dad's daughter, I was on his side. It was just, he was right. I didn't care what was going on. So I had to take a step back and say, okay, their marriage is not my business. What I need to do is I need to honor people. So that's what God tells me to do. He tells me to love people and honor people. So I took a step back and I started viewing her as a person. And I'm like, well, what if she was my friend? And I saw the stuff going on. Like, what would I do? Like, would I hate her because she she didn't have a good marriage? So I think a lot of times you need to take this is a relationship, and their relationship as children, a lot of times I feel like we feel like the issues are our problems. And I think a big thing is to not view it that way and just say, how do I honor my parents as people and as like my authority figures? So that was definitely something that I had to realize growing up, because I did not like have a good relationship with my stepmom growing up. My dad has had 4 wives. My mom has had 3 husbands. So it was always a constant change. But this more recent stepmom has been around since I was in 6th grade. And like I said, a lot of it was just, she's a person and she has feelings too. She's not just like this evil character that she's made out to be when she's just fighting with my dad. So.
Right.
So I read the question a little different actually, because I don't come from a home like that. Both of my parents are married, and they've been married since I was 2. They had me before they were married and then got married. The way I read it before the step parents part was, how do you honor your parents when they don't honor each other? And in my brain, that means my mom's saying one thing and my dad's saying another, and I don't know which to choose. And something that I always kind of went back to was, if it's against what God tells you to do, that's not the one you choose. And that's the way that I would look at it, that if God says to do one thing, or if you're reading the Bible and it says don't steal this thing, and your dad's telling you, hey, just go take that thing from the store, probably don't go do what your dad said, your mom says. That's a funny example, but things like that, if what God tells me to do doesn't line up with what my parents are telling me to do, then I would say that the honor your father and mother goes one step behind honor your God.
I like that.
You know, I grew up in a family where I got saved at 15, and my family was like, they thought I was in a cult because I went from living as horrible as I could to overnight. I'm like, I want to change. I want to be godly. They're like, okay, what is this dude smoking? And it was like, I'm actually not, for the first time. Like, this is good. And so this question comes across different for me as well, which is neat. You guys are all kind of hitting really good angles. For me, it was, I'm going to church. I'm tithing. I'm worshiping. I'm like saved, born again, on fire for Jesus, reading my Bible, and my family's not. But my parents are still my parents. And so I struggled with this thing, like at times going, wow, like you're not giving me godly, eternal, biblical principles for life. Why should I listen to you? And I learned that honor doesn't always necessarily mean agreement. I can honor you and not agree. The definition of honor means to have respect. It means to adhere to what is right. So like, I can honor my parents, but disagree. I can honor my parents if they say, hey, you're grounded. And I remember this happened. I got grounded from church because they knew that was the only thing I valued anymore. You took my video games. I didn't really care. Told me I couldn't do this. I didn't care. Told me I couldn't go out to the movies. Didn't care. Told me I couldn't go to church. It was a stinger. And I realized that if I become dishonoring under such a disagreement, that I would actually reveal the true content of my heart. Does that make sense? So like, when I was like, hey, you know what, Mom, I'm sorry, you're right, my bad. And I would suck it up and just be like, hey, you grounded me. I respect that. You're the parent. I'm not. And I think that was a big part for me, was to learn to understand authority. And honor is because of authority, and authority, the Bible says to show honor to those who have authority over you. And, you know, that's like, there's been many situations where I've been wrongly mistreated or misrepresented by authority figures in life. And I just learned to say, you know what, the way I respond to you reveals more about who I am than the circumstance that you're putting me in. And so honor was always something that I gave back, even knowing that it would be a seed for my future.
Yeah.
That's cool. I like that you gave the definition of honor.
I think it's really cool that we all had different answers and it hit us in a different way for sure.
I thought that was cool.
I want to reiterate because I see a lot of people are joining on Instagram.
Yes.
I want to reiterate to everyone that is on Instagram, we are streaming on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch right now. So if you are on Instagram, please go follow our Twitch at generations_youth. Follow us on Facebook and YouTube because we're going to slowly be phasing Instagram out. We're going to be trying to kind of get more into YouTube.
Travis, you on here?
Yes, he is.
Travis on. What's up, baby? That's my brother, another mother.
Please follow us on Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook, generations_youth, and Generations House of Worship on YouTube and Facebook. So go follow us on there.
Calling you out, Nathan. I know you have Twitch.
Yeah, Nathan's probably on Instagram.
Go get on Twitch.
So follow us on there. We got a way higher, better stream quality on there. It looks super
We got
dope.
cool stuff going on. And also, so that's why the laptop is down here for our second stream. And Pastor Nick is also joining us live. So if you hop on Twitch, YouTube, or Facebook, you'll see all those cool things and everything we're plugging on the corner of the screen. It's a lot more fun.
We got some production quality going into this that Instagram doesn't allow us to have. So please go to the other platforms, give us a follow, and we're gonna keep doing stuff like this. So next question.
Not to hate on Instagram, but we did try to do some stuff on Insta and they kept threatening to lock our account down. So, that was another reason why we moved over, and we're real excited about it, guys. We have a lot planned. And if you're passionate, like you're like, yo, man, I'd love to talk about this stuff. We invite you to be on here every week, and by your consistency to be here with us, we might end up having you, jumping on with us one day. We are definitely going to be looking for people to jump on as guests, and people with inspiration and wisdom and insight. So super dope.
Absolutely. All right, we're gonna move on to our second question. I'm gonna read one of the ones that we had got.
Yeah. I like the one. It said, as a Christian, can I date someone that is of different faith? And the answer is, yes, you can. So, you most definitely can. You can date whoever you want in this world, honestly, right now. And I'm not going to get into that. But should you is really the question. And, for me as a Christian, and I didn't know this until I became a Christian, there's the morals and values that come with that. And if you date someone, you're dating usually to get married or to have a future with. And do you want to raise children and live in a house with people that don't have the same morals and values as you do and honor the same things that you do? And there just becomes this struggle because, say, it's someone, even if they're of Jewish descent or if they're of like a different religion, or no faith, I'm sure the morals and like be a good person is usually the same across most faiths. It's, always like be a good person, do good things, but the things that you truly believe in. So I guess the question is how deep are you into your faith and how much does it matter to you? But if you're a Christian, it really should. And there's a verse, I forget what it says, but you should be equally yoked.
I was just gonna say that.
So,
I was gonna pull that one out.
Pastor Nick, do you know where that one's from?
Yeah.
My headphones literally said battery low right when you said the verse. What was
Equally yoked verse.
Oh yeah. The Bible says do not be, unequally yoked, and that's super important.
You guys almost saw a spit take from Jaden, first of all.
¿Dónde estás?
Where's it at?
2 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 14.
All right, that's cool. No, that's good. I would agree with you. And I think that's really big what Mariah said too. Like the answer technically is yeah, you can date, whoever, no one's going to stop you really. But the question is like, should you actually want to be doing that if you do have as deep of a relationship with God as maybe you say you are? And I definitely, from past experiences, I don't know if you can agree, but I've dated guys that have not. Well, they've said they are Christians, and then I've realized that I have a little bit of deeper faith, and then they didn't. And instead of me pulling them, they pulled me backwards, and it definitely did not go how I would have wanted it to go, and I learned hard lessons.
What's funny about that, my husband actually, when I first met him, he said he was a Christian, he believed in God, but as we started to talk and date, when we started dating sooner than we should have, but it only lasted 2 weeks, and I realized that he was not walking with God. He believed in God, but he was not walking the road that he should be. He was not following. There's a difference between saying, oh, I believe there's a God, and actually following what he wants for your life. And I realized that he was just not dragging me down, but dragging me in a different path that I wasn't on. And So we broke up, and then he started coming to church. He kept saying, hang out with me. Like, I want to hang out with you. I said, come to church. Come hang out with my friends.
That's what I always
come
say.
do this. So like, come do the things and come be around the people that are my friends. He started coming, and it was honestly pretty quick once he started coming like to the church. And I thought he was coming for me. But what's funny is I told him, I was like, I don't care if you come for me. Like, don't tell me you're going to come. I don't care if you're there. And then he stopped telling me he was going to be there, and he showed up. And that was like, honestly, a moment of attraction, because I was like, wow, like you're here for you and for God. And that sometimes can be more attractive than someone's looks or something other than that. So.
Right.
Yeah. They can come for you. They just won't stay for you. So, you gotta, something that I learned, in life, and is two great people aren't always great for each other.
Right.
And that's okay. And it takes a lot of maturity and wisdom. For a lot of people don't know my backstory, but I was engaged prior to the woman I married to, and the girl I was engaged to was awesome. We were great friends. We were the best of friends. She loved Jesus. I love Jesus. We both, I mean, on paper, and Annalise and I have had incredible conversations with this, as my wife and I have mentored her for quite some time. I've had this conversation with Mariah when she was dating Jerry. I've had this conversation with Jaden. We've like, two great people aren't always great for each other. And when you really, really love somebody, you want them to be with the person that God has for them, the person that God has intended for them. And I tell people this all the time, and I wish I would have learned this a long time ago, prior in my dating years. Date somebody like they're somebody else's spouse, because then you're thinking, if my husband or my wife is out there right now doing something, dating somebody, I hope they're dating them in a way that I'm not going to regret. They're not going to regret. We're not going to regret when we meet each other, wishing we wouldn't have done those things or acted that way or given so much of our heart to that person. And, that's really an okay thing. And so, when we broke off our engagement, one of the pastors in our life said, in my country, when an engagement breaks off in friendships, it's a good thing. And when it breaks off in marriage, it's a good thing, as long as it breaks off to the right direction. All that being said, Mariah said something at the beginning that was really good. And I'm just going to put a little point to it. She said, you can date whoever you want. The Bible says all things are permissible. Technically, you can say you're a Christian and you can go smoke crack and repent and actually change and cry out to God and be sorrowful. And at the end of the day, there's a lot of people who love Jesus that have a lot of stuff that they need to still deal with. And I would really encourage you, it would be better if you lived your life getting rid of those things rather than adding on to them. And a wrong relationship in my life of 20 plus years of serving Jesus, a wrong relationship, whether romantic or just even a friend, has always been the number one reason why I see somebody steer away from the Lord and end up in a place they were never intended to be. So you can date anybody you want, but when you yoke up, you go in a direction that you weren't intended to go if they're not going the direction that God has intended for you to go as well.
Sorry, we're laughing that you said yoke up. What you said was good.
Yoke up.
See, it's
Christian
funny.
terms.
Yoked in the Bible does not mean what I thought it meant when I first started reading, because I thought like egg yolk. So that's not even close.
Not quite.
So
That's great.
Like cattle, whenever you have the little like things on you.
yes.
Not you,
Yes,
but the
yes.
cattle have the things
Yeah,
on them.
so-
and if one's missing, it's like unequal.
Yeah. So if for anyone else that doesn't know, a
Sorry,
yoke
guys.
was a thing that they would put on cattle around their neck, but it'd be two cows together. And if one cow was like way taller, then the yoke would be all janky.
So if your faith is way higher than your friend's faith,
You'd have a janked up yoke.
Yankee.
So yeah, that's what unequally yoked means.
Kind of got it.
Yeah, you did. You got the right thing.
I mean, it's like the same thing though if you have eggs. Like you don't want a dippy egg and a fried egg. So if you
What if you like?
No.
I don't know.
A dippy egg and a fry. This is where we're going, huh? This is where.
We love food.
So a funny story actually is, like, Mariah, you were saying that you wanted Jerry to like come to church, but he was like coming for you. My friend texted me the other day and he was asking me to be in his wedding. And he was like, you're a very, there we go.
There it is, guys.
That's exactly what a yoke is.
If
Whoa.
you on Instagram. Oh boy.
Turn it off. Turn it off. Ads. Ads. It's the devil.
Instagram, hop on Twitch, YouTube, or Facebook. Twitch is @generations_youth. Follow us there. Great follow.
Yep.
Okay, I'll get used to it.
I think they have sexy ads on Christianity.com's website. That's ridiculous.
They're trying to get the Christians. That's the evil trying to get in
It's
there.
the devil. The devil done slithered in.
So my friend asked me, he was asking me to be in his wedding, and he said, you know, you're a very elusive man, Jaden. And I was
Well, wait,
like,
side note, they didn't even use his phone to get a hold of him.
yeah, they called
They
her
used me.
because my phone had been dead for like 8 hours, and she was at my house, and they somehow knew that.
I
And
don't really know how.
so
They just took you
so
guys.
he calls me, and he's like, you're a very elusive man. I try and come to see you at church, and you're not there, and then I try and call you, and you won't answer, and then you're just crashing cars all the time. I don't even know how to get a hold of you.
What was the point of the story?
That was he kept coming to church to like come see me,
Okay.
and it was always the weeks where like I couldn't be there for something,
Because you
or
crashed your car.
yeah, because I crashed my car and stuff like that. And it was funny. It reminded me when you were saying that like Jerry was coming like just to see you.
Yeah.
He was coming, like he has a church. He was just coming here to see me, to ask me this question.
There it is. Now everybody, look at this beautiful picture.
That is a yoke.
That is a yoke.
It's spelled different too. It's like
Yeah,
Y.
Y-O-K-E.
Oh,
Yeah,
I thought that's
Y-O.
how do you spell an egg yolk?
Isn't there an L in it?
I thought there was
Y-O-L-K.
Yeah, it's yolk.
Completely a different
Oh,
word.
Yeah.
The more you know.
All right.
Someone has something in the chat. There's a
Yeah, we
little
gotta.
thing on there.
This Restream is fire. And you know what? I'm going to go ahead and just do a shout out to Restream. Restream app is what we're using to stream everything through. And they have just gone like leaps and bounds. And they helped us through the pandemic. They're phenomenal. They actually give a discount towards nonprofits. So I just want to give a shout out to Restream. Hey,
Yes. Huge shout out to Restream.
Sure.
I want to read this comment. You guys probably all can see it, but Emily said y'all are really speaking to me. Needed to hear that tonight. I'm really glad that we can, help you out a little bit, Em. I'm not sure which question you're commenting that to. But also for everybody on, I guess, is the private chat just through? How do they get that? Like what app?
I think private chat is Pastor Nick to us.
Oh,
Yeah, that's internal.
not
So
for-
all the other chats, like the chat overlay right here, that is going to show every streaming platform that we are streaming. They can actually jump.
oh.
They're reading their chats, and the rechat bot will actually send any replies from one platform. It'll send it to all platforms. So right
I'm
here,
so,
if we go hi,
so sorry.
I didn't even have a Twitch, so. Or know
Hi
what
everyone.
Twitch
Oh, is that
was.
you, Pastor Nick?
So it sends it to every platform,
Oh, I
so
see.
everyone can see it on everything.
I see that. It shows check marks by all of them. Okay. This is cool. The more you know. Who's that?
Yeah, so
Hi, Stephanie.
definitely we're getting some production value into Midlights, and we got some really cool plans for it. So I know that there's still 4 people watching on Instagram. We are streaming on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. So please hop on over to one of those platforms. Our Twitch is @generations_youth, and our YouTube and Facebook are Generations House of Worship. So please head on over there, follow us, subscribe on all of those pages so that you can see when we're live. Turn that
I
notification
was just
bell
gonna
on.
say, put all the little bells on that you can.
Hit all the bells because we're going to be doing this a lot, and we got a lot of cool things planned.
Hey y'all, who's yours? Is that you, Pastor Nick, or is that Pastor Brooklyn?
that's me. That's me
Okay.
on that's my Twitch account. That's my 2011 Twitch account.
Also, I'm gonna plug my Instagram. It's @AMS100. You can follow me if you guys know yours. Plug me too. I don't know if you guys.
I know it, but it's my last name.
I
so
I
it's
am
fine.
I am @Jaden O'Keefe, JAEDON_OKEEFE.
That's a long one, man.
Yeah. Well,
That's my name.
yeah.
Yours is worse.
Yeah.
My name would be long too, but I just made it short, guys. Pastor Nick, what's your Instagram?
Pastor Nick C, the letter C.
Has
Pastor
it
Nick
down
C.
What's yours? Do you remember?
Yeah, it's @Miss Ushinsky, so it's MRS_YUSHINSKI.
He put
Mariah
C.
and Pastor Nick are in the same
So,
business of having very long, terrible to spell last
Yeah.
names. No
Mine
offense.
mine is easier than him. It's like kind of
I
reasonable.
know.
Yours sounds like
I
it.
can do
So,
yours, but
yeah.
I learned his because of a song,
Okay.
like the alphabet song that you taught me about
It's
it,
the
Pastor Nick.
skis. My
Yeah.
my mom's maiden last name is Shinaki. Like, how do you? There's a J in there. I'm like, why? So
I swear I still think it's Japanese.
It sounds
Funny.
like it. All right, so
There
we're gonna head on into some more questions. Which one are we at?
This
Okay,
one.
so our next question: how do I find the greater connection to God that everyone around me seems to have and I don't? Can God help my anxiety?
Let's
So
chunk
is
it.
that 2 questions?
Yeah, let's chunk
Yeah.
them. Let's do the first one. You want to read that one again?
So
I'm
how
gonna
do
let y'all answer it, but I'm just gonna let anybody who feels that way. We're just gonna clear this up. We all feel that way sometimes.
Yes.
so how do I find the greater connection to God that everyone around me seems to have and I don't?
We will touch on that in a second. I just want to give background information as to if you guys can hear that sound, the laughing and the talking. We are in the sanctuary. We're in the green room, which is behind our stage, but we have I'm not sure of the name of their group. Pastor Nick, what is
It is Disciples. Oh man,
Christian.
Triple Eight Christian Disciples. It's a motorcycle riding group, and they're from all around the nation. Actually, people from Canada too.
Yes, they're here.
And they are coming in for a weekend to celebrate, and they're hosting at the church tomorrow. They'll be all at church Sunday morning as well.
So if you hear that, if you hear noises, there are other people here other than us, so please don't be alarmed. I'm sorry to cut off the comment or the question. Get back to that.
Do you want me to read it again?
Probably.
So, how do I find the greater connection to God that everyone around me seems to have and I don't?
Yeah. It's a great question.
Yeah, it is a good question. So, I'll start.
Okay.
So, I know for me, I've definitely felt this before. Like, you go to a church camp or a thing like Elevate that we took our youth to, and you see all these people around you having these God moments, and they're bawling their eyes out, and they're really just having a God moment is the only way I can really say it. And then you're just standing there and you're like, what's going on? I feel uncomfortable. I'm not really like, for me, I've had times where I feel very convicted of something and there is something on my heart that I am like, okay, I got to get rid of this thing. And then I can have my God moment. And then there's other times where I've been standing there and I just didn't feel a conviction. I just felt very awkward in the moment. And it's something wasn't hitting me right. And I can equate that side of it to I wasn't prayed up. I wasn't reading my Bible. I didn't know what the voice of God sounded like in that season of my life. I didn't know what I was hearing, and I didn't know how to respond to it. And so there's that side of it that I've had. And then there's the side of it where it's like, this is the conviction that I'm feeling in my heart. This is what I have to let go of so that I can let God work in me. Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of times, and me and Pastor Brandon kind of preached on this for communion a couple of weeks back. There are things that as Christians and even as non-believers that we hold in our hearts that are kind of offenses, but holding us captive. And we need to learn to let go of them and learn that God is there for us to help us through those things. And that if we just actually let go of those things, God will take control. Mm-hmm. And I just think it's really important that we try and work through those things, because at least in my life, though, that's what I've found is what keeps me from God. And when those moments are happening and everyone else around me seems to be having this Holy Spirit filled God moment, and I'm just standing there twiddling my thumbs, it's because I have something in my life that I need to let go of, to let God work in me.
I think too that I completely agree. And even like not even just like those church experiences or like the Elevate, like what we took the youth to, even I've talked to some people that I know at church, and we have something called Linger, and we don't live stream it, but it's an in-person experience where we come, we worship a little bit, we get a little bit of a message, but then we sit and we linger in God's presence, and we're sitting there waiting to hear God's voice. And I've had friends that are like, I've looked to my right and seen people scribbling all through their journals and getting so much from God and getting so much revelation and getting so much from the night. Then I'm sitting there like, man, I've got nothing. Or another person's like, I didn't get this, or God said this to this person to say to the congregation, and they shared it. And there's so many different experiences in that one night. And I completely agree with Jaden by saying, like, hearing God's voice is almost like a muscle. Like if you don't exercise it enough, you're not going to know what it sounds like. You're not going to be able to strengthen that. And I've been there. Like I've definitely heard God's voice and then I've been like not working it out. And I'm just like, oh, well, God doesn't talk to me anymore. Oh no, God is trying to talk to you. I can tell you that if you're not hearing his voice, you need to pray more, read your Bible more, strengthen that muscle. But it's not to say that in that night of like a linger experience, you might not get something from God that night. Maybe you were just there to soak in the worship, the message,
Rest. Yeah.
with God. You don't have to get something every single time whenever you see your friends. If I see Mariah scribbling and going to town and Jaden got a word to share with everybody and I'm just like, oh, I didn't get anything. Maybe I wasn't supposed to. Maybe I was supposed to get something from what God gave Jaden to share with everybody. It's not to say that you have to take something away from all of those experiences.
Make it real time. Think about every relationship you have. And now I liken it to my wife, because we're with each other. Like there's no more intimate a relationship than you'll ever have than you and God, and it'll always be equivalent in a shadow form, like the most like being married, because you wake up with that person, you go to bed with that person. They know you better than you know yourself. They know your mess. They know your best. They know you're blessed. They know you're stressed. They know all of it. So I think of just like my wife and I, if every time I was with her, it had to be epic, it would be a strain on our marriage. And I think what happens is that's the mind we get sometimes, because we see some people, they don't have that daily time with God. And so when they come to church, they might look like they're getting it because they've been dry all week and they're like reaching, but you might be reading your Bible every day and you're like, wow, my relationship with God is very consistent, where other people's might be very high and very low. And because it has big lows, the highs seem so epic. And like Jaden said, you see someone at camp or a worship experience and all of a sudden they're wrecked. Well, you don't know what in hell they went through. You don't know what they might be in right there. And sometimes, just in our friendships alone, there's people that you see every day and you're like, oh, hey. And then there's someone you haven't seen in a while and you're like, oh my God, hey, and you're all excited, but you love them both the same. In fact, you might love the person that you see all the time way more, but you're just so used to it that it's a good, comforted, consistent. It's not epic. It's not this, huge explosive feeling. And so I want to encourage you, don't strain, and don't push yourself to think that a healthy relationship with God looks or feels a certain way. A healthy relationship with God is daily communication, transparency, love, intimacy, the ability to rely on each other. What do I mean by that? You should be able to rely on God, but God should be able to rely on you as well. And, when it comes to like something linger, like Annalise talked about linger, let's not forget that the prophet Samuel learned to hear God's voice, and he was serving God for years and years and years before he ever heard God's voice. But he served, he did all the right things. He followed all the rules. He became a disciple. He served in church. He did all this stuff that you technically should do, but he did it because he wanted to. And the Bible says he served the Lord by doing that stuff under those people, under his leaders, under his pastors, under his church. And because God saw his faithfulness, eventually God spoke to him in a way he didn't speak to anybody else. So just keep hungry, and you'll be shocked how that affects every relationship you're in. Stay hungry for every good relationship you're in, and you'll be shocked the rewards that come at the end of it.
I've used this analogy with some of my kids at church camp. Imagine you are an orphan. You're till you're 14 years old, and then all of a sudden your biological dad shows up, takes you home, and then you're at a grocery store, and he calls your name, saying, "Hey, come here." And you don't know what his voice sounds like. You're not going to recognize that voice and immediately turn to it and go running towards your father. It's the same exact thing with the Holy Spirit. If you don't know that voice and spend time with that voice and read your Bible and pray and spend time with God, when the time comes for him to call your name and call you into your calling, you're not going to know what it sounds like. You're not going to know what to do because you didn't spend time with him.
Yeah, that's good.
Well, I say too,
Yeah.
in feeding off of that, like if you're an orphan and you just meet your father for the first time, or when you're a Christian, you're newly becoming a Christian. Like when I got saved, there were stepping stones that I had to take. It wasn't like, and some people have that moment and they have like this, I heard God's voice and like that's how he got me. Well, God got me to church because I was trying to follow someone to church. And so I was working and I had to take these boys with intellectual disabilities to church. So it was like this, God, if you're real, show me. And it was just step by step and piece by piece. And it wasn't all of this like the floodgates open and like I was just hit with God's voice. I had to like dig in and figure it out for myself. So and I had to go to church. So like, you know, if this person is new to their faith and they're asking this question, just keep pushing in. And even with the, can I like feed into the next part, like helping with the anxiety? So like God, you have to let him in. He's a gentleman. He's not going to just come barging into your life. You have to open the door and let him into that. So, you know, for me, there were things like I used to smoke weed, and there were things that I didn't want to let him in. I was afraid to let him into that part of my life because it was my comfort zone. It was something that I ran to. But slowly and just through different things, I started to realize like this is holding me back from so many things. And so I let another door open. And so it's step by step, and it's as you go through things. And sometimes you might have this big moment and then you know you just and then you have that consistency again. So you start consistency and then you have you know you might be like okay, and then something else big happens again. So like you know there's these phases, and it's also like how much you put into it, because it's like school. When you're in school, if you're in a class and you're not doing the work, you're not going to get a good grade. So with God, like you have to do the work.
Right.
So
That's really good.
Something really interesting that you said. God is a gentleman. He's standing at the door and knocking. So a very famous verse in Revelation. It's Jesus says, "I stand at the door and I knock." And I was listening to something or reading something earlier today that was talking about that. And when you actually get the full context of that verse, because we use it in religious circles as Jesus is standing at the door and knocking, and the door is your heart, and you need to let him in. But when you look at the context of the verse, Jesus was standing at the door of a church, and the church wasn't letting him in. And so I don't know if that exactly has anything to do with anxiety, but I think that that's a really interesting point that I've kind of been studying on. And even the church isn't always perfect. So like those people that come in and they're like, oh, well, I have to be perfect to accept God, or I can't have anxiety before I take that next step with God. God is standing right there.
Yeah.
It's we're not letting him in. And I think it's really important to just understand and realize he is standing at the door and knocking, whether that be to your heart, to your soul, to the things that you need changed and need help with. He's standing there waiting for you to take the next step.
Yeah. God is more passionate about you knowing his voice than you are wanting to know it. And I think like everything you guys are saying is so on point. And I feel like like you said, Jaden, sometimes we feel like we got to get it all cleaned up. And it is true. You got to do the work, but he wants to meet you in the work. It's not like he's like, my stepdad came over the other day. It was so funny. I called him. I was like, hey, I'm working on my motorcycle. I'll be in the garage if you want to stop by. He goes, I've been in my pajamas all day. I'm going to relax. So I'm sitting in the garage. I'm working on my motorcycle, hands all greasy. And he pulls up. I'm like, what are you doing? He said, it's not every day I get to see my son working on his motorcycle. That's how God is. That got him off of his couch. He drove all the way down to my house just so he could see me work, because it's a joy for him to see me reaching and trying. And so God enjoys watching you worship. Even if your worship is messy, God enjoys you trying to quit smoking. God enjoys you trying to conquer your anxiety. God enjoys watching you. And when he sees you trying and leaning and crying out to him, he'll start jumping into the fist fight for you. And you'll be shocked at the stuff you're able to get away from and the things that you're able to break free from. But let us not forget, anxiety is a voice. A lot of reasons that people have trouble hearing God's voice is because they continue to listen to the voice of anxiety. And I don't know if any of y'all's mamas, whenever stuff started getting trafficky on the freeway, or someone got cut off, or all of a sudden like things were getting a little crazy, my first thing my mom did was turned off the radio. She turned it off, like, right?
Right.
She's like, I can't drive. You know, if there's noise, and think about that. Like we have to turn off the radio. Anxiety is a station. Depression is a station. Fear is a station. Lust is a station. Anger is a station. Resentment, unforgiveness, bitterness, shame, guilt. These are all stations. And faith is a station. Peace is a station. Hope is a station. God's voice is a station. And I'm not talking just Caleb. Like, I'm talking in your spirit. You got to learn to say, you know what? I'm sick of this station. There's too much talking, too much bullcrap. I don't know about y'all. I want to listen to music. I don't want to listen to talking. Like, there is too much talking. I'm not listening to this. I want to listen to the voice of God, and you'll be shocked what happens when you take power over the station.
That's a good analogy too, with being different stations. I like that.
Absolutely.
Thanks, I just made it up.
That's good. That was good.
So probably going to end up wrapping it up here.
Hold on. I want to shout out to, on Instagram, on the comments, Sean Stanley joined. Sean is from Open Bible East, and that is where we for Elevate and SYR. And he said, who's hyped for SYR 2022? And we are hyped. Generations House of Worship is excited to be there. We can't wait to join you guys again for another year. It'll be super fun. If you are in grade 6 through 12 and you want to go to youth camp with us, come on Tuesday nights at 6:30 to 8. You can get more information about it, or you can just keep a lookout for our website, which that would be a life group under ghow.net/life groups, and there would be a registration life group for that. I think Sean said something.
Hey, else. Sean, can we would it be okay if Open Bible East plugged Midlights and put our Twitch in the next newsletter? That would be awesome.
He's on Instagram. So Sean,
you can't hear me. Annalise, why don't you reach out to him?
Yeah, I definitely can reach out to him. Also, he said, let's get real. Oh boy. Okay, let's get real. Should we bring Elevate to the Berg? ! Yes. Heck yeah, we should, Sean. Please. We are all behind that one.
Yes.
And then he said,
I'm down. I think Columbus is a good spot. Yeah. It's right in the middle of everything. I'm just saying it's a good spot.
I mean, I think Pittsburgh's a pretty dope spot too. Awesome.
It's about time they drive 5 hours to get to us.
But Sean also said, I want a better relationship with Pastor Nick. So I'm sharing that with Pastor Nick. Sean, if you just jumped on, we are using Restream. We usually do it on Instagram Live. I know you know that because we talked to you about it at camp last year, but we're streaming on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. So if you want to join us on Twitch next week, we'll be on there. It's at @generations_youth. And then Sean also said yes. And I think his yes was to you saying, could they plug Midlights in the next newsletter? Sean, give me a thumbs up or something in the comments if I'm right on that. I'm not sure.
So let's be clear. Are we going to continue to stream on YouTube and Facebook? Or are we pushing this all to Twitch?
I think for the first couple weeks, when we get this rolling, get people off of Instagram, definitely still be streaming on YouTube and Facebook. But eventually the goal is Twitch. We are streaming on Twitch.
So everybody watching right now, we're encouraging you. We want to fall off of these bigger platforms in the next few weeks. So probably 4 weeks. We're going to be off, and you're not going to be, it's not that we disappeared. It's just that you stopped following. So make sure you get on Twitch and follow us. Get us enough followers so we can subscribe. And then the reason we want to do that, and I know, like, if you have the modality to be able to be in multiple platforms, we have to explain to you, we're trying to make one platform incredibly successful for this vision. And if we spread it out, then that keeps us from getting the subscribers and the followers that we need in order to actually take ownership of the platform. So we need you to support this by jumping off of Facebook, off of YouTube, off to Instagram, and heading over to Twitch and being our friend.
Yes,
for sure.
Also, Sean gave me a thumbs up on that. So he said the newsletter plug of Midlights is a go. So I can reach out to you, Sean, about that and give you the information that you might need to put in that newsletter. Thank you so much.
Call me, Sean. You got my cell phone. I'm here for you.
I'm sorry, I cut you off.
I don't know if you can hear me.
We kind of just did what I was going to do, but make sure that you go follow us on Twitch, because I'm about to spend
80 hours making this the coolest thing that we can possibly make it.
We should hire you and pay you.
Sorry, I can't pay you. I'll pay you.
If I find out that you only dock 79, I'm gonna call you a liar.
But I got some really cool things in the works for the actual platform, and we have some really good ideas for Midlights and actually being on here streaming with you guys. So these are going to end up getting posted eventually also. So if you miss a live, we're going to post them so you can go back and you can listen to them. We're not exactly sure what platforms that's going to be yet. We're still working out the kinks, but we will get there. Bear with us. We got some cool stuff coming with this. So please make sure you go follow us on everything, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, but please follow us on Twitch so that you can get us to 50 followers so that we can get this thing moving.
And put our information everywhere. Put all of your stories. Hey, Becca, what is up? We've missed you. Becca just jumped on Instagram Live.
What's up, Becca?
Becca, Pastor Nick is streaming live with us on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch, which is why we got 2 screens going on here. Just a little bit of background information on that. If anybody is hopping in right now, I would suggest that you go back and watch the beginning of this live. I mean, if you don't watch the whole thing, definitely watch the beginning. Catch what we said the new vision is. Same vision, new platforms. So we're going to be phasing out of Instagram.
New execution.
Yeah, new execution. That sounds better. More excellence is coming to Midlights. Thank you guys so much for joining us. We're super excited to be back. It's been a long time since we've been on Midlights, and we're really excited tonight to show you guys the new things that we've had in the works. Different platforms, some new faces, different topics. We're super excited. It's only going to get better. Also, we already said earlier in the stream or live that we have baptisms this Sunday. So those start at, is it 1
Memorial Day picnic? They will, I think it's 1 o'clock.
It's 1.
Is the plan. Memorial Day picnic. We'll have food out there. It's going to be dope.
If you don't know the time, I think you guys should all just come to Sunday service at 10:30, and then you can all just follow us to the campground where we're going to go have a Memorial Day picnic, baptisms. We're going to all hang out outside. It's going to be super nice out. I'm super excited. I think that is all I got. And then city groups, obviously. That is on Tuesday nights right here at the church. That's from 6:30 to 8 p.m. for anybody in grades 6 through 12. We have Snack Shack, so bring some food or bring some money for food.
If it's your first time there, you get a free snack. So
ooh, that's true. Yeah. And bring a friend. They get a free snack, and you might get a free snack because you brought a friend. Sean said the lights are a vibe. I like it. Thank you, Sean. This is the green room, and this is what our worship team utilizes on Sunday mornings and Wednesday nights, and this is their favorite place to be, I think.
Mine's Alexa, make the office blue.
No, everyone's Alexa just started going off.
Oh, my bad.
No, I'm just messing with you. I don't
Unplugged.
know. Is there anything else you got to add? Anybody add anything else?
Should we say something about summer nights next week?
We definitely should do that. Good
summer
call.
Nights, it's 6 p.m. at the Tarentum Park.
Yes.
So, come hang out with us. There is an evangelist speaker. I don't remember his name.
Chris.
Yes, Chris.
Evangelist Chris.
And there's gonna be worship in the park. So, right? So that's pretty cool.
There's worship.
I mean, honestly, just being outside and being able to do all that stuff outside is really cool.
Mm-hmm.
So enjoy the nice weather.
Yeah. So that's on Wednesday. That is at 6 p.m. So what normally happens on Wednesdays for us at Generations House of Worship is communion. And that's normally right at the church at 7 p.m. But when summer hits, we like to utilize the wonderful weather outside that Mariah is talking about. So that's why we're going to the Tarentum Park. But we're only going to that location for this communion. So come July, the first Wednesday of July, we will be back at the church. And if anything is to change, you guys will be aware of that. But come out next week to the Tarentum Park. That is, what is that? June 3rd?
Is it June 1st?
Yeah.
First. Yeah. Yep, at 6 p.m. Yep. Anything else, guys?
Nope.
I don't know, but this platform is sick. Look, we can put up comments.
Guys, we would sit here all night just figuring stuff
Oh,
out.
dude,
I love that.
I got outros for us. I got stuff planned, dude.
Cool.
I'm feeling it.
And if you guys come up with questions or anything that you want us to talk on or touch on during a Midlights Live, please message us on Facebook. I don't know if you can do that on YouTube. I know you can do it on Instagram, so DM us. Or you could email us at info@ghow.net. And all of that will come to any 4 of us. And if it doesn't come directly to us, it will get to us. The questions will stay anonymous if that is something you would like. The screen just flipped. I didn't like that. But if you have anything you want us to talk about, just please send it our way. We'd love to do that. And we want to hear from you guys. If you have any suggestions or anything, send them to us.
I saw you hover over that prayer part too. So if you need
Yeah.
prayer or you need specifically something prayed for, somebody or something in your life,
Mhm.
there's an email in here. It's prayer@ghow.net.
Sure is.
So just send it to us and we will just reach out to you and just let you know that we're praying for you.
We have a prayer team
So,
that would get
yeah.
right on that, and that also will stay anonymous.
Yep. And if
Sweet.
you got questions, is this the email for youth?
It sure is.
Yep.
If you got midlights questions, you can also email them there.
Sweet.
So I think that's it. Thank you, everyone who tuned in the whole time. We really
Yay.
appreciate it. We will be back next week
At 11.
at 11. Thank you, guys.
Bye, everyone. Bye, Instagram. Bye, everybody else.
Bye.
Thank you, guys.